But he said guys were having troubles with those. Now you know. I can't even see it. I might have to wait for a strong wind to get that one down. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you're watching. Today is the day that we finally get in the field, start picking some corn. Yes, we picked about 3.5 acres 2 days ago, but I don't really count that. That was kind of just our test run, test day. We are finally going to be running in the field today. So Dad is just getting the bin doors put up, making sure that the bins are all taken care of. We got the dryers and everything done yesterday. I'm going to be moving the baby truck over, getting the grain cart unloaded, get some corn in the wet holding bin, and hopefully get a dryer full so that we can start running. So I do actually need to check the oil and the gearboxes on these. While I'm doing that, I could have the baby truck unloading into the wet holding bin. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that set up, start getting the grain cart unloaded. Well, I need to fix my remote. Oh, there it goes. Let me try the other remote. Actually, that cart is full of water, so I need to pick that up and get that out of there before I put this under the truck. Otherwise, that 19% corn is going to be 75%. I'd say the batteries are dead on that. So we'll keep this one for now. We dropped this down thinking we were going to be getting started and it wasn't going to rain, and then it rained. Seems as though you guys have fallen off immediately. Okay, we got to fix this. That'll probably get the job done. Okay, we forgot to turn on this Brandt auger, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this slide on the wet holding bin. And turn it on, because I guarantee there's a bird's nest at the top of that auger. We really don't want that in the bin. Okay, we're gonna let that tractor warm up. I've got to check the belts on these motors and the oil in the gearboxes. And I've got to take this Kenworth somewhere out of the way, because it is in the way currently. So I'm just gonna go ahead and nose it up to the shop, because we've got to service it anyway. It just needs an oil change, check the fuel filters, things like that, coolant. Put a new air filter in maybe. I think we just put one in actually, so maybe not, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this over there, get it out of the way. It is in this lane that I'll probably be running through to get to the baby truck, the grain cart. Once I take it over there, that'll allow me to just grab a step ladder quick so I can check these motors. I want to be in the field right now. Getting antsy. Well, I completely forgot I ran that to see if there's a bird's nest in here. And there was. Good on this one. Not bad at all. Hopefully these are as well. They're pretty loose. All we got to do here is just drop this motor down just a little bit. Get this pulley further away from the other one. Tighten it up. Not a big job. Okay, the gearboxes are full. Belts are tight. This one actually wasn't too bad. I didn't have to mess with that one, but we didn't really run it, so.
Yeah, this one didn't run it.
Yeah. Okay, we got the bird's nest taken care of. It is out of there. However, I do need to remember to close this slide so that I don't have a buttload of corn coming down out of here. I'm just gonna close it all the way for now. Get some corn started in here first, then open that up, see where it needs to be. So I think we're ready for a grain cart. Everything is set. Dryers are done. Hair system's checked. I'll go ahead and I think this is set up to the big bin. It is not. It is set to the middle. So we're gonna go ahead and switch this over. It's just a matter of pulling that up, moving this slide over. There we go. Okay. That is over to the big bin. And then one last thing before I also forget. So I'm gonna climb this bin and open that door. It's about the time I go and start sending that stuff through and I don't have that door open. That's a bad day. But Dad and I did such a nice job putting that globe on there. They don't give you anywhere to put it. So we manufactured our own bracket to place it on there. Look at that fancy new spreader. We got this wire mesh up here. Catch anything from splattering out of the bin. Oh, I did a bad thing. I don't think Dad can get through there. Forgot the combine was in there. He ain't gonna make that, no way. No way. He's gonna run into the side of that Wilson. You may as well just get out and move the truck. You're not gonna make that. Oops. To be fair, that was his plan to park it in front of the shop, so he can't blame me. Anyway, this is all we've got done. We've got the solar panels opened up around the house. We've got along the road there. And just 24 rows off around the house here. But we got the rest of this 50 to pick yet. And then across the waterway is our 93. And honestly, that's still pretty green yet. So I don't think that'll go, but this stuff, 20%, 19%, somewhere in there, it's looking good. Like I said, it's averaging about just off these 3.5 acres, mind you, which this is where all our compaction is. So I'm assuming the rest of the field will do the same, but combine was reading I think it was 273, and the cart was reading 270 at 19%. So that's wet bushels, obviously. So around 250, somewhere in there, average dry, which I'm, obviously very happy with. I don't know where it came from. And like I said earlier, I definitely know that not all our fields are going to be that good. This is just good soil around the house here. And this corn looked good all year, really, even though it was so dry. Don't know how, but it was. Now I did get the lid opened up, but I'm not going to turn on that spreader just yet because it is going to be a while before we start dumping into that bin. I got to get that dryer filled, and then it's got to sit there and cook for a minute, get dried down before I start emptying it. So it's going to be a while, and I really don't want that spreader to just be running empty that whole time. By golly, he got out. I don't know how, but he did miss that Wilson somehow.
I would zero your scale out and run backwards this first time so we get an exact weight.
Yeah,
and then I'll pick one more, and then I'll true up my monitor.
Okay. See what's going on?
Well, I had the two together, so you did write this down. I don't know if you got your...
I should have a notepad in there, yeah. So, okay. We're gonna get this cart untarped yet. And then I'm going to put that stand up so that that arm isn't having to go all the way up and down. I'll show you here in a second. I don't have enough hands for you though. Sorry. Oh, lots of water. It's water. Steam. Steam is good. It's water. These grain carts got this little, I don't know what you would call it, but this little arm stand, if you will. You gotta pull the pin on first. And you can leave that out, and now when I fold my auger back up, it only comes to about here versus going all the way down back to the ground. Just takes less time. And that way I'm not leaving my auger out all the time and risking banging it into something while I'm running around the barnyard here. Okay, so we finished up getting the cart empty, and it is saying negative 52,600, and I think I had about 52,900 on the scale before I started, or before I zeroed it, so I'd say it was pretty close. There's usually about 200 pounds left in the cart when all is said and done, you know, that it just can't get out. So I'd say that's pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and write that down, 52.6 though. We will go from there. I'm not going to get out just yet. I'm going to go ahead and rush over and get my dad empty quick and then come back, let this truck kind of run into the bin for a little bit, and then start getting the dryers filled up. As you can see, with that stand up, that's all the further she goes back. That way it don't take so long. I just noticed the door on that semi is still open. I won't be long. We'll close it on the way back. Perfect. Kept them off a little to the left side because I am downhill from here, so it's going to shoot over to the center. Oh, finally, the day is here. Now, Dad was saying that we're in a Pioneer 109 day right now. And there is actually an FS number 112 day in the middle of the field, so it could get wetter. It should get wetter, let's put it that way. But hopefully not too much. Hopefully stays under that 24%. That way we don't have to crank up both dryers.
16 acres of this Pioneer.
Oh, that's it?
Pioneer.
Do we put the 109 day on penners as well?
No, that was Whiffles, 109.
Was it all Whiffles?
I put on 1185 is what I finished with up there.
1185, 111 day.
So,
well, this hopefully all the Pioneers that good. And it was correct. I took off 52.6, so if it keeps going up, I don't mind. I said if it keeps going up, I don't mind.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, the moisture correction on that, yeah.
Well, obviously. This is the life of the grain cart driver. I run about 2 miles an hour behind him while he's opening up, and I just kind of cater to the combine driver. Whatever he needs, I got to be there for him. So right now it's really important for me to be right behind him because, like I said, he's opening it up, so he can't. He could turn around here because he's got a waterway, massive waterway on the side of him, but typically, you know, it's ditch and road and stuff next to you, and he can't just turn around and get where he wants to go. I have got to get to him to empty so that he can make it all the way around the field, and once we get, you know, at least 8 rows off, it's not so bad. For right now, I've got to be following him, making sure we get opened up. He's pushing it to get to the end, but I don't know if he's going to make it without some cab corn. What is going on here? I would say, oh, you know what this was? See that blank spot right there? We were having a bunch of solar flares when we were planting, and it kicked our GPS off and around and all this other stuff where the planter was doing this down the field. And that was one where it had a swipe kind of go to the left while he was planting this corner, and it shut those rows off because it said it had already been planted, but it was literally just a solar flare. I'm sure he's got cab corn now. It's coming off the side. Oh, not too bad actually. Just a little spot, nothing crazy. We managed to keep the majority of it on the combine. I thought this door was open. Well, we still got corn in the trailer yet. Not much. It is hanging up there a little. So I'm actually going to get another moisture sample just on this 109-day now. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and get that dryer loaded up, or beginning to load anyway. Then I'll take off and catch again. I'll have time. The one dryer holds about 500 bushel of corn, and it takes a while for it to load, so I should have time to swing back around, get the cart full, get back here before that's full. If not, I'll have corn all over the ground, so it's not that big a deal. Corn is kind of just standing really tall, stacking up. It's not really flowing out to the sides of the trailer. That's a good sign that it's kind of wet. That's why I'm just curious. I really want to take another sample of this. The stuff we picked earlier was 19%, but this is acting like it's a little wetter, so I really want to just make sure before I start that dryer. I've got plenty in the wet holding bin now. That trailer holds about 700 bushel of corn, 750 maybe. So I know I've got at least that in the, or close to anyway, 600 bushel anyway in the wet holding bin here. I'm gonna close down this slide a little bit. I do not want to overload these belts because then they break, and then this is full and it's a nightmare. Switch it down into manual. There's a dead raccoon that's plugging up that trailer. Gross. And I know it came from the grain cart because I looked in that trailer and it was spotless. Anyway, we got our sample. Drop the thermometer in. Put on about 250 grams of corn. Got our scale set to 250. No, it's pretty close. The reason we're going to 250 grams is because if you come to this chart, what the sample size is 250 grams. Calibrate this thing at 53, which I already have calibrated. So we can go ahead, put our sample size in the cup. Tester is on. We'll go ahead and calibrate it one more time. Down to 53. About there, so it gets dead zero. Yeah, we got our pretty zero right there. Operate, drop the sample in, Run this down to 0. As close as we can get it. Ooh, that's it. That's at 88. That's pretty high moisture. That's not good. 73. Another 0.2 of a point on there. That's 29%. Uh-oh. First sample we had was 19. That's 29. That's not good. Well, for now, I need to get that raccoon out from the bottom of our trailer. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the auger. Really send her home. We'll go ahead and open those doors a little bit. Get that raccoon to drop out of there, hopefully. And get it the heck out of there. You're not shelling all of this off of the cob on some of these. I don't know what you can do about that. Maybe tighten the concaves or something.
I don't see anything off to the side of me.
Right behind you. I don't know if it's just because it's wetter, but and it's not super frequent, but I mean 1 or 2 or 3 maybe every, I don't know, 30 feet. But it's just not shelling all of the kernels off of the cob. It's looking a lot cleaner now, but there was an area there, and I don't know, maybe it was just that spot.
Yeah, it's probably just winter corn.
So that is another job of the grain cart driver. Whenever I'm behind him, I am just checking to make sure that none of the sample is coming out of the back of the combine. I'm looking, seeing, you know, how it looks on the ground. And it's looking pretty good. I mean, I don't see really any kernels on the ground, no full ears on the ground, but we hit a patch there where it wasn't shelling all the kernels off of the cob. It was leaving like, you know, 20, 30 kernels just kind of here and there on the cob. And I don't know, you know, I haven't ran the combine enough to really know what settings really do what, but I imagine, I assume you can kind of tighten up those concaves or something to really get it grinding a little harder to try and knock all that off. I'm not too sure, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet again, so it might have just been that spot like he was saying of just really wet corn. Those cobs get kind of soft and it doesn't really knock that kernel off. Okay, we just made it back after that round. It looks like the dryer is full. Ouch, I don't know how full, but I don't know. I could certainly go up and look, but I'm afraid it might start pouring out as I get up there. It is over that bottom pressure plate. Perfect. I'd say that's full. I'm gonna go ahead, shut down that auger, and start this up and get it drying. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and empty this cart onto the trailer, and then I'll go back over there right before I leave, and I'll see how hot that dryer is. I'm not sure where I got it set. I like to keep it around 160 degrees, somewhere in there, 170 maybe, but I don't know where it was set from last year, so that's all stuff that's got to be refigured It's not automatic, so I got to figure out where I want it and get it all set. I'm okay with that. It's at about 170. Leave it there for a bit. Probably let that cook, maybe an hour. Then I can start the metering on it, start shooting it to the bin, see where it's at, test it a little bit. So if that was 20% that went in, realistically that should be, if I let it cook for about an hour, it could probably do, I don't know, maybe 5 points an hour. Maybe I'll let it run a little longer than an hour. I don't know. First time out of the year, it's I don't remember how to do anything. Well, I really wanted to get some drone footage here. However, this is the image on my RC. It is somewhere up in that tree. And I don't think I can get it. I mean, it's pretty high up there. Boy, I really wish it would have just fell out of the tree. I really don't want to have to climb this tree. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. I can't even see it. I might have to wait for a strong wind to get that one down. Okay, so I got my drone stuck in a tree. Here's the plan. Got the genie, it's way up there. Dad's gonna come in real quick and lift me up there and hopefully I can get it. Oh, I'm an idiot. We got it. We managed to get it. Dad had to come give me a hand, shove me into the tree, and then I had to climb the tree the rest of the way. It was way up there. So, but we got it back. We recovered the drone. Whew. Wow. What a time to be alive, really. Man, that genie's handy. Well, I lied to you guys. We tested the corn again. And I forgot, when you go high moisture, closer to like that 30% or over 21%, whatever it is, you got to recalibrate that tester back down to 33. I was thinking that was for beans. So we recalibrated it down to 33 versus the 53 that I had it set at. And it's reading 23% moisture. Makes way more sense because it wasn't piling like 30% corn. And it, quite frankly, it wasn't shelling off the cob like 30% corn. You'll know. Like those spots that I called them, I said, hey, you know, it's not shelling off the cob. That, you know, high moisture corn will do that. But 23%, that is like perfect. You wanna shell this stuff at like 23, 24%, because as it dries down in the field from there, they call it ghost bushels. It just kind of, the bushels just kind of disappear. And so at 23, 24%, his monitor is now reading 292 on this corn. And we're gonna go ahead and just either finish the field or get to the 112 day that's probably gonna be higher moisture, and then recalibrate everything and see where we're at from there, see what the yield's at. So that's the plan. But right now it just keeps climbing. We are at 292 on yield. Wet, obviously, but goodness gracious. Okay, we got it set into operate. All that means is now all that automatic sensors and stuff like that are gonna kick into effect. If anything drops, if the dryer gets too low, if it overflows the boot because the air system goes down, if it drops a fan, if it drops a fire, anything like that, it will just kick everything off. It's all tied together now that it's in operate. Well, we've been running for a little while now. I think I'm probably good to get a sample out of that dryer. I think I just hit that pressure plate with the bucket, shut the dryer down, so that's nice. Roughly, I don't know, somewhere in the 12.7 range. So I'm actually gonna speed it up a little bit because I think I was running it a little too dry yet. But no, I'm gonna let it be because it might be getting, you know, higher in moisture right now because, like I said, it sat there for an hour and cooked. It hasn't gone through that whole dryer, so I'm gonna check it again in another 45 minutes to an hour and see if it goes up to like 13%. If it does, I'll leave it alone, wait another hour, but if it gets drier, that's when I'll mess with it. Because we really want this stuff coming out at like 15 and a half, somewhere in there. In that range is fine with us. It's a new variety. I think it looks like a white cob. Yeah, it is. He is leaving a lot of corn on those ears. So I need to let him know that he's not busting those kernels off of those cobs. He either needs to speed up that rotor or tighten the concaves or something, but that ain't working because there's a lot of it on the ground.
Okay, now I know why the yield dropped too. I didn't know I changed the varieties until I went to the other page. But yeah, I'm at 1185.
So you're on that 111 day. Well, yeah, you're leaving a lot of corn on the ground. Now he's gonna get that switched over. Change some settings because seriously, it's a lot.
Alright. I did speed up the rotor. Let's see, when did I speed it up?
The last time I told you about it over there?
No, just now.
Oh.
Because I was seeing some rotor wash showing up.
Man, it's just rubber. These cobs are rubber. Extremely hard to shell. Well, can you open the sieves a little more to... Once you sped it up, you opened them?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I opened it actually on the way down.
But you may have to open them a little more. Because I don't know what your sample looks like, but...
Looks pretty good, actually.
Well, there's quite a bit of kernels on the ground yet, so... That's... You can't hardly do that with one hand.
White tile.
When you say guys were having troubles with those, now you know. So, okay, well, like I said, I'll keep an eye on it. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about when we're saying speeding it up and opening the sieves and all that, on the inside of that combine, right behind the head, that feeder house, there's a rotor, like just a tube that kind of spins, and it's got concaves and stuff like that on it that help thresh the kernels off of the cob. And I mean, I could probably get an animation for you to put up here, but it feeds into the combine, gets in on that rotor, and it just beats it against the concaves to try and shell the grain, and then the shelled grain drops down onto the sieves and gets sifted through so it can go up into the clean grain elevator and get put up in the tank here. Well, the problem we're having is that white cob is so rubbery that it's not shelling off of the cob correctly. And so he sped up that rotor to beat it faster against those concaves to try and really get it off that cob. Well, now it's throwing it out the back because it's going too fast. And so he's going to try opening the sieves a little more. They're like little fingers that won't allow like cobs and things like that in. It'll throw all that crap out the back. It only lets the kernels in. Well, he's going to open them just a little more so that he can hopefully catch more of what's going on there since he's speeding that up.
Speed it up a little. It's better at 3.5.
Okay, it is about 6:48, almost 7 o'clock. We're finally in the rhythm. I've got the dryers down to about 15 and a half, somewhere in there. Dad and I have just been running pretty smooth, so things are going good. I know I shouldn't say that. And look at that, a perfect harvest moon. Don't know if you can see it right above the shed there. It's just fitting for today, our first real day of harvest. We got into, I think it was a 109-day Pioneer, I believe, yes. That was what we were picking first, and it was actually averaging 298 by the end of it, at about 23%. And we got into 1185, and it's been dragging it down ever since. It's a white cob, really hard to get off the cobs, which hasn't helped the yield at all either, but it's down to about 285, somewhere in there. So dried down. This field's running about 250, I would say, probably 255, somewhere in there. So really happy with what's going on. I think the strip till did us an enormous amount of favors this spring with how dry it was. And not only that, it's just, you got fertilizer right there available, right for the crop. So our yields have only been going up since we started strip tilling. It is getting dark. Don't know if you can see the harvest moon a little better here. There she is. There's the dog. She lays right where I have to drive every time. And it's just, she gets up and she's mad at me because I'm driving in her spot. I don't get it. But anyway, it's getting dark. We're going to try and bust out this 50 tonight. If the wet holding bin can handle it. The middle light indicator has been on for quite a while now. This little black spot here, those turn yellow once it fills up, and then there's a top one there. That middle indicator has been on for quite a few rounds, so I don't know if we'll be able to go much longer, maybe a couple hours, and then that wet holding bin is going to be full and we're going to have to shut her down. So again, good problem to have. But anyway, if you made it this far, hey, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment, whatever you want to do. It's all free. For those of you that have subscribed, I appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next one.